What's up, guys? Back for another one. It just snowed yesterday, so we got a nice powder. I don't know why I said it like that. I want to do kind of just my own assessment of my situation, because I feel like if somebody would have seen, even the majority of what I've said, kind of describing my situation, a lot of it is just, like, self-admittedly just complaining. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, but it's for a reason. Like, I did it for a reason. I'm complaining to vent. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is. And so, one thing I think a piece of the puzzle that's missing, though, is what I actually think of all of that. You know what I mean? And yeah, I've thrown little, I've kind of given little things, but anyways, it's an evolving thing anyways. So even if I would have said something back then, I'm almost for sure see it differently right now. So I guess this might not make sense unless you've known some things, but just kind of what I'm like, just the assessment, just an objective. If I could really try and be objective looking at myself, but at the same time knowing what I know. You know what I mean? That's a really hard thing to do, is to look at yourself objectively while still knowing everything about yourself. I'm not gonna say that I'm any good at that, but I'll try. My opinion is that, and this is based on talking to professionals as well, but I'm in a battle right now, and I am kind of I'm fighting. Okay, so it's kind of hard to describe. So I have this turmoil that's going on in my life, and it's a relationship turmoil that I can't easily remove myself from. Okay, so that's one piece. And what that does, what I mean by that, and the downside of that, the only downside, in my opinion, like, I'm over the relationship loss, I'm over all that, it's all good, it sucks my energy, you know what I mean? I have to put so much energy into just letting it go, and just ignoring it, that it doesn't leave a lot for the rest, and a part of that is totally my bad. Part of that is totally resentment, which I need to deal with on my own, and the resentment that I have is not like it's caused by them, but I'm the one who has it. Do you know what I mean? So I have to deal with it regardless of whose fault it is. So I'm completely aware of that. Another aspect is, I was thinking this on the way here, it's one thing, I fully understand people kind of being afraid of the unknown, and I need to not completely say that I'm not being afraid of the unknown in this situation, because every single situation anybody gets into, no matter what, it's a brand new situation, so everything is always unknown, kind of moving forward. That's like just a standard thing, and I think if people looked at things like that, they'd be a lot more open-minded to a lot more things, because they wouldn't think that, people kind of get in their routine and just go on autopilot, close their mind off to things, like, because they get used to it. But and that's kind of how people fall down and kind of deteriorate, and then they go through a process where, like, oh yeah, I'm being shitty, and then they're like, oh, I'll be good, and then again, and then they're good, and then they get into a routine, and then they get bored, and then they're like, oh shit, what's wrong? Oh, I need to do this. Okay, let's do better again. And then, you know what I mean? That's kind of a theme that I see in everybody, and definitely in myself. Not everybody. No, I shouldn't say everybody, but I guess myself. I can only say that. So I kind of go through that, and so there's that. And then there's also, I have, like, for good or for bad, like, I believe anything, like, your greatest strength is your greatest weakness, because it needs to balance out. Do you know what I mean? Everything balances out. And so I think a strength of mine is that I can't remember where I was going with that. Fuck. God damn it, that really fucking ruins this shit. Fuck. Man, I've really stopped smoking as much weed as I have been. I've noticed it kind of added to my anxiety for sure, and slowing down and microdosing and taking it in different forms, like through kind of, instead of smoking it, eating it or whatever, and that's changed a lot. I was smoking too much, and I wasn't even smoking that much. I was just getting, like, the best shit ever, and I'm just like, it just, like, the problem with weed is, in my opinion, like, we don't even know what the fuck is going on with weed in any way. Like, we're so fucking, we just don't know. Especially when you get into all the different strains and all the different terpenes and and how all those terpenes affect different parts of your body. Like, we literally don't know 1% of 1% of everything that goes on when somebody, you know, takes a puff of marijuana. We just literally don't. But we know enough to use it in somewhat of a useful way. But I think we're just scratching the surface with the potential that it has for making people more healthy in, like, many, many, many different ways. I get it that everybody reacts differently to it as well, and that's a whole other thing that we don't know. You know what I mean? So not everybody's the same, but yeah. So kind of back to what I was saying, like, so that's another thing, like the weed, I need to make sure that that's kind of on point, you know. I need to make sure that I am not overdoing it. I'm doing it for the right reasons at the right times, and doing, you know what I mean? So that's 100% a thing. But at the same time, like, it's so good for me, and it literally, let me describe to you, like, I've smoked so much weed that I don't get high anymore. What it does is, when I am going through my day and I'm anxious, like, I've been through addiction, okay? I've been through intense addiction. I've been an addictions counselor. I'm not, I'm aware of it, and like, I completely admit, this last maybe month or two, I've overdone it, and I've just oversaturated my body with cannabinoids. And so that's a bad thing, and it's too much, and this week I've really slowed down and have started to in turn enjoy it more, kind of. And that's the best thing about weed instead of any other drug, is it forces you to find a balance with it. It forces, like, if you do too much of it, you don't feel good. You know what I mean? Like, or I don't, at least. I think some people do. Some people just love getting blasted, but I don't like that, because I don't drink. I never liked the feeling of being drunk. I never liked the feeling of being out of control. And so that's why I get kind of defensive about weed, is like, I'm literally doing it to be able to be more in control. And so, yes, I overdid it. But I just need to kind of be cognizant. And it's like, it's a bit of a learning process. I think anybody who starts doing cannabis needs to, like, go into it with the idea that they need to learn how it affects them. And, like, it's a continual kind of evolution of finding certain strains, or like doing certain strains during certain parts of the day, or not doing them, or cutting some out altogether, or only doing other ones, or you know what I mean. It's like I'm not even going to get into it, because it's, first of all, I don't know enough, nobody does, and second of all, it's just too complicated, or it would just take too long, I would just be rambling. So that's kind of my whole marijuana deal. And so there's that's another kind of piece of the puzzle. I'm finding it hard to put into words. Like I can imagine it, I just like can't say it, kind of like. So I'm talking to a psychologist, and I've kind of strayed away from traditional psychologists. I'm like an OCD person, and so I end up like debating semantics, not semantics. Like I need a fucking intense psychologist, I gotta say that, because I'm so detailed in fucking everything I do, that if somebody was to give me some advice, I'll tell them all the things that they're missing in giving me that advice, while at the same time agreeing that I should go in that direction. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I think that's kind of what I was talking about as my strength is my greatest weakness. Like, I say this with the most humility I possibly can. Like, I know that, people have told me that I'm smart, so maybe, I guess I'm smart, I don't know. But if that's true, then, it's me seeing things and making everything overcomplicated and kind of, it is without question a weakness of mine. And I need to learn how to manage it, and I need to learn how to focus my energy in the right direction. And that's why this turmoil and these kind of relationship battles I'm having are really hard for me to kind of get past, because I just am fucking overwhelmed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't say anything more than that. And I'm overwhelmed at nothing. That's the weird part of it, is, and at the same time, and then that makes me think, it's like, oh, well, if I'm overwhelmed by nothing, then maybe I'm, it's in my head, and I'm creating it out of my own thoughts or whatever. And so that's a fair assessment. And I think that's true. And that's the problem. That's what I'm having trouble getting over, is my own, because what I'm afraid of is not the unknown, is not something that I haven't kind of done before, because pretty much between the ages of 17 and 29, 28, I literally, just did whatever the fuck I wanted to. and I was an asshole, and I was a dick, and I was a great person, and I was an okay person, and I was like all these things, and I just did everything, and literally just tried to soak up as much experience from life in every single aspect as I could. Once I kind of got the idea of one thing, bored of it, what's something I haven't done, and just go do it, without question. It was just, oh, I haven't done it, okay, let's do it. I'll figure it out. And I got to the point where I was kind of addicted to putting myself in situations that I had to think on my feet and deal with, you know what I mean? Super awkward situations I would just put myself in, because it's a new situation, and that's and I had to stop that, because that is extremely self-destructive. That's extremely not healthy for me, and it took me a while to kind of see that. And so what I did after that is, and this is kind of the lull that I'm in right now, this is kind of the evolution that I went through. I went from doing all this crazy shit and never wanting to stop, never wanting to do anything. It's like, okay, I need to stop fucking doing that shit. And now the new thing I'm going to try is not doing that shit, which is about as extreme as doing the other thing. You know what I mean? Like just going from one extreme to another. And so I'm not defending that. Do you know what I mean? There's better ways I could have done it without question. The thing is though, is that I'm here right now. And I'm trying to deal with things as they are. And yeah, excuse me. Yeah, there's like, you know, I'm not going to get hung up on things that I could have done better. Because because it's just an overwhelming thing. But I need to make sure that I'm in the moment and am not, like, it's really hard to admit to yourself that you're being self-destructive. Do you know what I mean? It's a hard thing to admit, and it's a hard thing to see as well, I think, for me at least, like, but that's what I have to do. You know what I mean? Like, I really, regardless of anything, like, I know that I'm in this, like, ultimately, at the bottom of everything, I know that I've brought myself here. Do you know what I mean? I don't think other people have brought me here and, oh, you shouldn't have done that because I wouldn't be here now. I don't think that. I'm just talking about the things as they are. You know what I mean? And so I am fully accountable for everything I do. And I take responsibility for that. Now, so that kind of leaves me at a place where I need to shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't keep just saying like, oh, this and that and this and that. So I get that, and so that's the scary thing. And now where I'm at is I need to go, and I have this idea of what things might be like, and I know it will be different than what my idea is. And what I'm afraid, like, one thing I gotta say too is I live in a city that has kind of an effective 25 to 30% unemployment rate in people eligible to work. And I need to, like, that might be off, but it's like I live in Canada's current Detroit. Like, people haven't realized it, maybe. I think people kind of really know, but this is a failing city, and this is maybe not as extreme as Detroit, but like this, our wealth is completely based on oil, and yeah, I don't know. So I need to get the fuck out of this city. And so that's one thing, like, that's a legitimate thing where it's like, okay, there's literally no fucking jobs. And if I go apply to get a fucking job as a barista, then I'm going up against people with master's degrees. Do you know what I mean? Like, it really is a tough place right now. And my dad, I live with my parents, I guess I should say, because I'm unable to support myself at this point, which is pretty unfortunate. But, well, it's not unfortunate. It is unfortunate. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. But it's there's a lot of things going on, and it's a tough situation. And so I'm really trying to just move forward. I've given up trying to make big leaps and trying to I just need to change this one thing and then everything will be good. I've stopped doing that because it was really not effective, and I think ultimately I need to evolve my own self. You know what I mean? That's what needs to change in every kind of situation. You know, wherever you go, there you are. And it's so easy to blame other people. It's so easy to say, oh, well, you know, you should have done this or you should have done that. I don't know, but yeah, So, and so the problem with it is like it leaves me in kind of a place of limbo where it's like, okay, I guess I just need to go and do it, right? I need to go out and do it, and it's a mental block and it's an emotional block. I don't know how to get over that though. I really don't. That fear is based on things that I've already done. Like, I'm scared of doing things that I've already done. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm scared of. I've done this. I've gone and gotten jobs. I've like worked my way up from fucking selling knives door to door to working for a Fortune 500 company, selling to multi-million-dollar businesses, and literally all on my own. I had no help going through that. I just did well. You know what I mean? And so that was not the right career choice for me, and I totally get that, and I understand that now. And so now I need to find something that is, I don't need to find the perfect career choice. I just need to find something that at the end of the day kind of, I don't know, it's I think this is another thing where I need to change as well. Like, I really have never been good at doing things kind of day in and day out. I just really struggle with I don't know what I struggle with. Like, as somebody, like, I guarantee it, somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh my god, it's just this. It's like, oh, you just have to, it's just, oh, you're missing this. And I'm not saying that's a small thing, and I'm not saying like they'll be saying that in a rude way, but it's like, it's just something that I'm just not seeing. You know what I mean? And I guarantee you, when I get myself out of this, I'll look back and I'll be like, oh, the fuck, but at the same time, when you're in it, you can't, that's impossible to do. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm in it, and I'm not giving any excuses. I need to change things, but I don't know how to change them, and I don't know what to change. And so that's why I'm kind of talking to experts and trying to get myself out of it, because I just don't know. So I feel I need to give kind of an update to that on here, because I've like, it's been so depressing. I really appreciate people like fucking sticking through my depressive fucking bullshit, and I just yeah, I don't know. So the answer is, why am I here? I don't know. I really don't. And it's a scary thing for me. So yeah, I don't know. But thanks for watching. I think I really need to I need to stop thinking of what I need to do. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.